A question that I was asked is, what was the biggest challenge I had while I was in the Air Force? That's a good question. The answer to that is, for the most part, I didn't have a lot of challenges. That doesn't mean I didn't have struggles or anything like that. They were just minor things in my career. But the biggest challenge that I had in the Air Force was something that I created. I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm talking about. It's the perception of what people, specifically my leadership, had of me. That could be my commander, my supervisor, my first sergeant, whoever. For the most part, my interactions with them wasn't constant, in the sense that I didn't deal with the commander when I was enlisted every week, or the first sergeant. When I commissioned and became an officer, I dealt with the commander more. My role was different. And that is where the challenge that I had created began. And that was the perception of what people thought of me, because in the past I was a people pleaser. I still love to interact with people, but as I've matured, I'm not really concerned with what really people think about me, because A, I can't please everyone, B, I'm not trying to please everyone. The people that are important in my life will be in my life, whether that's on the professional side or the personal side. Going back to the Air Force, is I liked tattoos because I was raised in Los Angeles, California. I was a teenager in the 1980s when hair bands were around. Motley Crue, Poison, Iron Maiden, all these bands that I grew up watching and seeing them live as well. So I was influenced by them, and I liked tattoos. And I had a tattoo when I came into the Air Force right about up to here, right above my elbow. Eventually I got this sleeve, one full sleeve. And then as I matured, I kind of regretted it. And it's beautiful art, but maybe regret is not the word. Maybe it's more so I outgrew the tattoos. So as an officer, what I did is I was always in long sleeve, and I was never in blues, short sleeve anymore after that. And the reason was because I wanted to keep that separate from my professional side. I didn't want it to become a distraction. And what I noticed was when people noticed that I had a tattoo or a sleeve tattoo, their eyes would go from my eyes straight to where my arm was. They would look at it, they wouldn't say anything, and then they would continue with their conversation. But I saw that as a distraction. I also saw that as I probably let some people down. And that's the problem that I created. That was my challenge. The good thing is my wife said, no, you know what, we're in different times. We're in the 2000s now. And not just prisoners, not just thugs, not just lost people have tattoos. Maybe that was a perception in the 1950s or the 60s, but we are in a different era, so I had to kind of become myself again, because I was a little bit too structured, a little bit too rigid, a little bit too people pleaser. That's the challenge that I was aware of, I didn't like, so I had to make the change. And I would go to the gym and work out in the summer in long sleeves. And people sometimes wondered, what's going on with this guy? Why is he always in long sleeve? And it's because of that perception and the distraction that I did not want to become. And sometimes, even in your older age, you get to learn things and just be who you are. I always had respect for the individual who is what you see, what you get, because there is no surprise, and they are being who they are. So that is something that was the biggest challenge for me. It is maybe a little bit now, not too much now that I'm retired, but it shouldn't be that way. So if you're like that in a sense, be who you are, and the right people will be in your life, professionally or personally.